Spoiler alert. If you are fascinated with the Artemis 2 space mission, the movie Project Hail Mary might become one of your favorites. It has definitely become one of ours. The space adventure movie starring Ryan Gosling is the second highest grossing Hollywood film of the year. So far, it's grossed more than $400 million worldwide. The film follows one man's mission to help prevent the sun from losing its power and to save the Earth.
Please state your name.
Ryan Grace. I just woke up from a coma. I'm several light years from my apartment. And I'm not an astronaut. I'm not an astronaut. I'm not an astronaut.
If you don't go, you die. We're the rest of us.
She was a very interesting character.
Yes, yes.
CBS News contributor Janna Levin is here to help us read the stars. She is also a physics and astronomy professor at the Barnard College at Columbia University. So good to have you on set.
So can we just make sure everybody knows who's watching? Yes. We're going to talk spoilers about Project Hail Mary, so please, don't come for us. We're telling you.
Yeah, exactly. Move away, turn the TV down. Okay, so how much of this movie, is based in reality? And specifically, I want to ask you, there is this sun energy-eating organism, astrophage, astrophage.
Yeah,
space mold. I like that.
Yeah.
Does something like that exist that we know of?
So there's our reality and possible realities. So we don't know of a space mold that exists like that, but we do know that there are extremophiles. There are even organisms on Earth that have survived trips to space in the vacuum of space.
Really?
They've come back and been reanimated. So these are tardigrades. They're like millimeter-sized little creatures. So it is possible to have extremophiles here on Earth. The idea was to riff on that possibility and imagine an organism that could actually eat the solar energy and convert that solar energy into power. And in the process of eating the sun, they're putting the Earth in parallel. In peril, sorry.
So one of the things that you mentioned that, they sort of posit that if this space matter, this space mold continues eating the sun will die, and thus we will die.
Yes.
As we talk about the planet warming because of man's what we're doing here on planet Earth, how vital? I'm just trying to understand, if the planet's temperature changes even by a few degrees, what does that mean? Here they're talking about the sun being wiped out, and you see sort of towards the end, the Earth is sort of frozen over a little bit, but what does it mean for just a couple of degrees?
The Earth is very fragile. It is sensitive both to human-induced climate change and also naturally occurring climate change. There have been solar cycles, and we are affected by that. But
solar cycles?
Yes, there are solar cycles. We are at a maximum of the sun's activity. It's about every 11 years. So we have space weather right now. The northern lights, if you remember, kind of drifted further south. That was because the sun lobbed billions of tons of ionized plasma our way. But we have this protective magnetic shield. The whole evolution of the Earth as an ecosystem is in balance with the sun. And so we don't want to throw our side off with human ramifications. We have effects on the Earth that are like plate tectonics. We're very impactful. But also we don't want the sun to go out of balance. And so this movie is really about something occurring outside of our control.
As a follow-up to that, I'm so glad you brought that up, Vlad, because this was a point of contention when my husband and I left the theater. Because at the end, the Earth has, they're going through the water and it's all frozen and everything. And that wasn't because of something that we did here. Right. It was because of something that was impacted with the sun. So if the solution, I won't spoil what that is, that Ryan Gosling and his wonderful sidekick Rocky. Comes up with actually works if the sun does. Can it
bring it back?
Can Earth be okay
the sun has a
again
tremendous amount of energy. The sun is basically a thermonuclear bomb that is continually burning thermonuclear fuel, and it will do so until it runs out of fuel. These astrophages were interfering essentially in some sense with the light that was getting to us. And but yes, the sun will burn for as long as it burns. In a few billion years, the sun will expire. we'll run out of fuel, and we'll have to have a movie about how to survive when the sun distends and vaporizes the inner planets. But we have a few billion years.
Really quickly before we go, because Kelly's favorite character is Rocky, the alien that Ryan Gosling meets. And President Obama recently made news when he was being interviewed, and he said that he believes, he didn't say that there's anything in the U.S. archives that indicates that, but in his own personal heart, he believes that we are not alone. There was something that was really refreshing, that the alien that Ryan Gosling meets is not like a humanoid type of alien. That was kind of cool. And what do you think? Yeah, well, one thing I found very interesting about the character in the film is he doesn't have eyes. Rocky doesn't have eyes, and I've often wondered about this. If we evolved under a different star, our eyes are literally detectors tuned to the sun. We collect light exactly where the sun peaks best. And if we did not have a star that was emitting light of that variety, why would we need eyes? So Rocky does this kind of echolocation. In the deepest ocean, those creatures down there do have eyes, but they don't use them. So why do they even have them? Well, some of them are vestigial from evolution. So the stars have also evolved in parallel on Earth in many different circumstances, but there are all ways to collect light. Even if you're deep inside the water, you might need a better eye to collect light even better. And there are shrimp that have tremendous range in color. So all of that is very interesting. About your question, Obama's wonderful statement about life in the universe, we have something like 300 billion stars in our galaxy. We now believe there are more planets than there are stars. There are more planets. So each star system, or many, or most, could harbor multiple planets. We have 8 planets in our star system. And so stars are plentiful, planets even more so, and life seems to find a way.
Seems like the odds might be that we aren't alone. Janna Levin, thank you so much for joining us. This is such a fun and interesting conversation.
I could talk all morning about this.